I added this one thing into my shot process, and I was blown away by the effect that this had on my shot consistency. So what did I add into my shot process? I'll give you one hint. It had to do with counting. This was such a simple process to add into my mental talk as I go through my shot process. And it really prevents my shots from going stale. A couple things that I've always had trouble with is keeping my shot to a manageable time and not letting it go on too long and getting stale. The other is consistently keeping my peep lined up with my sight housing, and the sight housing and peep would lead to my shot taking longer. Well, this one thing that I added in solved both of those issues very consistently. So what I implemented to work on these two things was simply counting to 5 in my head once my nose touched that string. And what that did was that allowed me to mentally anchor in the moment and allow myself to keep my shot process condensed instead of checking my sight and housing alignment multiple times before executing my shot. So what I do is once my nose gets to the string, just lightly touch it, and once I hit 5, I just hammer that trigger. And I just hope that my peep and my housing are lined up, and just hope that my pin is where it needs to be. No, that's not what I do. Not what I do. Once my nose touches that string and I'm mentally counting to 5, I'm going through my shot process like normal, and my pin at that point should already be on the spot that I'm trying to hit, and it's floating. And after I start counting, I'm getting my finger over that trigger. I'm lining up the peep and the housing, and then I hit 5, and I'm double checking that peep and that housing, ensuring that I'm floating where I want to be floating, and then I'm letting out half a breath, and I'm starting to pull through my shot. This was very simple, and it was easy for me to stick to, honestly, right off the bat. Right on my first session of doing this, I could stick to it because it added more solid anchoring, mental anchoring in my mind going through my shot process. So it's not only is it letting me reference the sight, the peep and the housing again, and giving me a point to start pulling through, it also keeps my mind on task and busy so I'm not thinking about other things. But this simple thing kept me very consistent right off the bat. So I've got to give credit where it's due. I had a subscriber, and that's the reason that I started doing this. They mentioned that they do some sort of counting through their shot process to keep it consistent. I think what I do is a little different from what they do. I changed it a little bit. But man, it's awesome having people mention the things that they do and trying it and seeing if it works for me. And that's mainly why I started this channel, just to give some tips and tricks of things that I've done as a new archer that can help other people as well. And also all the mistakes and mess ups that I do as well. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, like not dropping my yardage from 80 yards down to 60 and putting 2 arrows into a 2x4. That was great. That was a good time. So the benefit of this is less stale shots that take too long, more consistency in having the peep and the housing eclipsed perfectly when I'm pulling through my shot process. The drawbacks are that it's one more thing to add into the shot process. For me, it worked well and it felt just natural. But for other people, maybe this is another thing that you're adding in that you already have a lot of stuff you're focusing on. So it might not jive well with everyone, but it worked well for me. I know I feel like when you're on and you're having good consistent shot breaks and you're going through your shot process quicker. I always wonder if you're more consistent the quicker you're getting through your shot compared to longer. Like if you're really getting that shot that's getting stale and stagnant and you're getting out there 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 14 seconds, you should probably just let down. Obviously, I mean, a lot of times we don't have that discipline. I know I don't have that discipline. And I start just hoping that the shot is going to break in the middle instead of just letting down. But by having this process of counting to 5, it really cuts down on me mentally letting that shot get out there in length. Because I know once I get to 5, I am rechecking everything and then I'm pulling through the shot process. Whereas what I used to do was I wouldn't be counting, I would check it, then I would check it again, then I would come back to it, and maybe it wouldn't be floating where I want it to float, and then I'd come back to it again. So my simple process of counting to 5 once my nose touches that string keeps my mind engaged, reminds myself to keep my shot process short, keeps my peep and my housing aligned, and it has had a big improvement for me for my shot process. Let me know what you think of this addition to my shot process. Comment down below with other things that you've added to your shot process that have made a big difference, and we'll see you in the next one. What I do is I just visualize. Just visualize the arrow hitting the bullseye. And I just hope and pray and send that arrow down range. And just use my chi to just channel that arrow all the way to the X. Like Goku. Send that Kamehameha down range at Vegeta. I don't know what I'm saying right now.